And there came a day unlike any other, when Earth's mightiest heroes found themselves united against a common threat. On that day, they became the Avengers. The invincible armored Iron Man, Thor, Prince of Thunder, the Hulk, strongest hero there is, and Captain America, the first Avenger.
In the last 13 years, the Avengers have quickly become one of the hottest properties in the media landscape, with the most recent piece of media to feature them being the game Marvel's Avengers. From Crystal Dynamics, Crystal Northwest, Eidos Montreal, Nixie Software, and Square Enix Europe. While the game has had a, let's say, rough start, and is in no shortage of its controversies, those aren't what we're here to talk about today. That would be the DLC characters and their stories. In August of 2020, a list of heroes was posted on Reddit from a data miner, that list being Ant-Man, Vision, Black Panther, Doctor Strange, Falcon, Mar-Vell, Mockingbird, Quake, Winter Soldier, Captain Marvel, Kate Bishop, She-Hulk, Scarlet Witch, and War Machine. Since then, both Black Panther and Kate Bishop have been released. Originally, it was believed the developers would be doing monthly DLC heroes due to them saying they wanted Kate Bishop out in October and Clint Barton out in November, but there was never any actual word from Crystal Dynamics themselves. That was mostly just speculation on the players' part and also on media coverage. With Spider-Man now out, a new roadmap on the horizon that, hopefully, has more characters on it for the year, I thought it might be fun to give some ideas on who could be coming, where their stories will take the team, which villains they might fight, and some characters I'd like to see. A recent leak has named 4 heroes to be the next released, so I'll talk about them in the order they're believed to be released in, before I get to the rest. The way we're going to do this is I'm going to give some, or in certain characters' cases, a lot of their comic book origins and what led them into joining the Avengers. Then I'll give us story summaries with villains and maybe 1 or 2 new locations. After I've gone through the DLC leaks, I'll talk about some characters who I'd like to see in the game if it gets further than what we might get at this point. Also, because I don't believe doing biomes is worth it if they have fewer activities, and if that means that characters can come out faster by cutting them out, that's how we'll be working off of these. 2 or 3 of these might have new biomes, but other characters have new locations that are a single mission, or most of them are just going to be raids. In 1940, James Buchanan Barnes, a 16-year-old teenager, undergoes commando and special ops training with British SAS, and is assigned as the partner to Captain America in 1941, to secretly help the Allied forces during World War II, for the US during the war efforts in 1942. James operated under his nickname, Bucky. In 1945, Baron Zemo is attempting to destroy an experimental Allied plane. Captain America and Bucky stop the sabotage plane from reaching the destination, with both heroes being blown from the plane and presumed dead.
No! No! Bucky!
Today, Earth's mightiest hero fell in the line of duty. Farewell, Captain America, wherever you are.
Captain America is frozen in suspended animation due to the Super Soldier Serum, awakening in present day, while Bucky is found by a Russian general named Vasily Karpov, having lost his arm and suffering from brain damage and amnesia. Karpov sends him to Department X, who give him a new arm to replace the one he lost, and brainwash him into being their secret assassin, the Winter Soldier.
Captain America has abandoned you.
Karpov later gives the Winter Soldier to his protege, Alexander Lukin. Under orders from Lukin, the Winter Soldier assassinates the Red Skull and steals the Skull's Cosmic Cube. Captain America later gets his hands on the Cosmic Cube and uses it to restore Bucky's memory and fix his brain damage. Bucky disappears for a short time, but returns as the Winter Soldier, assisting Captain America and working for S.H.I.E.L.D. When Steve Rogers is killed, Bucky becomes the new Captain America. After the Skrull invasion, and Norman Osborn becoming the head of S.H.I.E.L.D., he offers his home to be the base for the new Avengers. So I have two stories. One is if he is the next character, the other is if he's actually coming later, which involves another idea I'd like to do with future DLC. In the first story, Hydra has been introduced during the time in between character releases, and is now attacking AIM facilities because the Sultan of Wakanda was between three groups, Klaw, AIM, and Hydra. When AIM pulled their support away from Klaw, Hydra wasn't happy, and tried to power through with what they had. Bucky would have been hinted as having been given the Avengers the locations where the two groups have been fighting before coming in at the end of the first mission to rescue the team. After that, they split up and fight different groups before heading to Hydra's base in Scandinavia, ending the story with Bucky joining the team. During the story, we'd get three new villains added to the game: the Red Skull, his daughter Sin, and Baron Strucker. In this DLC, we'd get two new villain sectors, one for Crossbones and Sin in New York, and one for Baron Strucker in Utah, with the Red Skull being the raid boss on Hydra Island. This is predicated on the Falcon being released before him. During one of their stories, Hydra is introduced into the game, and we fight the Winter Soldier, with that story ending with Captain America freeing Bucky, but he'd leave to figure out who he is and what he should be doing next. So when this story picks up, we basically get S.H.I.E.L.D. and the Avengers assaulting a Hydra base, and Bucky meeting back up with the Avengers. From there, the team assaults Hydra bases and defeats their top lieutenants: Baron Zemo, Baron Strucker, the Grim Reaper, Madam Viper, Crossbones, and Sin, before going after the Red Skull. The story ends with Red Skull getting away, and Bucky joining the Avengers. Like before, two villain sectors: Crossbones and Sin in New York, but now the Grim Reaper in Utah, with the raid on Hydra Island having Strucker, Zemo, and Viper as sub-bosses, with the main bosses being Red Skull. Jennifer Walters is a lawyer and cousin to Bruce Banner, aka the Hulk.
Good grief, cuz. You look like you've been out there slam dancing with the Hulk.
While defending a man accused of murdering the bodyguard of a crime boss, Nick Trask, a hitman attempts to drive by shooting, nearly killing her. In order to save her life, Bruce gives her a blood transfusion, and when angered, she transforms into the She-Hulk.
Alright, fine, show me what you got, but it better be cool!
How's this, hot stuff?
You don't happen to be any relation to...
Yeah, the Hulk's my cousin.
Good enough for me!
After she is cured of a blood disease, she is able to control her transformations, but decides to stay in her She-Hulk form. She is later invited to join the Avengers, and became one of the go-tos on the roster, when she and several other heroes and villains were transported to Battleworld by the being called the Beyonder. She-Hulk develops a rivalry with Titania. While I don't have a story idea, I do have a goal: put the Avengers on top, and AIM on the bottom. By the time the story would end, the Avengers have a New York base, Avengers Mansion, and S.H.I.E.L.D. gets the Chimera. With She-Hulk's release, we'd get two new villain sectors: Titania and Absorbing-Man in New York, and Monica Rabbuccini and AIM Tower also in New York. Air Force Major Carol Danvers meets Walter Lawson when he visits the base she is stationed at. When said base is attacked, Carol is nearly killed but is saved by the Kree hero Captain Marvel, though she is injured. She absorbs energy from an explosion that fuses her DNA with that of Captain Marvel's. Transforming her into a human-Kree hybrid. In honor of Captain Marvel, she takes the name Miss Marvel, and later uses both Warbird and Binary before becoming the newest Captain Marvel. She became an Avenger not long after she first became Miss Marvel. For Carol's story, we'd have both her and Amar Vale travel back to Earth, having learned that the Kree have sent Ronan the Accuser to judge if Earth should be made part of the Kree Empire.
I'm here to welcome welcome you to Earth. Now go home.
The story would end with Captain Marvel being captured and taken away by Korath, the Pursuer, before the Avengers are able to get him back. This is one when we get a new biome, the Nevada Desert, with a new vault, a Kree-themed hive, and one villain sector, Korath the Pursuer, and the raid on the Kree warship and boss Ronan the Accuser. After Tony Stark escaped the prison camp in his prototype Iron Man armor, he comes across a downed helicopter and its pilot, Lieutenant James Rhodes, nicknamed Rhodey. The duo defeats a group of enemy soldiers and destroys their anti-air weapons before they go back to a United States airbase. Tony Stark offers Rhodey a job as his personal pilot when he gets back to the States, which Rhodey takes up sometime later. When Tony's life was falling apart due to Obadiah Stane, Tony relapsed into his alcoholism and had Rhodey take his place as Iron Man after Tony had started to become too drunk to continue operating as Iron Man. During Rhodey's time as Iron Man, he quits the Avengers to try and help Tony, and he began to have headaches and acted more erratic and aggressive due to the Iron Man armor being tailored to Tony's brainwaves and not having been set to Rhodey. Tony, temporarily, redonned his armor to save Rhodey. After Stane kills Morley Irwin and injures Rhodey, Tony goes after Stane in his new Silver Centurion armor, battling Stane's Ironmonger armor, ending with Stane dying. When Justin Hammer tricked the Masters of Silence into battling Iron Man, Tony created the Model 11, the Variable Threat Response Battlesuit, nicknamed the War Machine.
The War Machine. Sturdy, impervious, and handles like 10 tons of tractor. Yeah, but it's got some sweet guns. Indeed, sir.
When Tony is apparently killed, Rhodey dons the Model 11 till Tony reappears alive again, and a rift forms between the two. But Tony tells Rhodey to keep the armor as he believes it was always Rhodey's. Rhodey does keep the armor and operates under the new code named War Machine. In the base game, Stark Industries assets were sold to AIM and Hammer Industries, so we'll play with that. After Tony was able to get his company back during the She-Hulk story, he's been buying back assets from Hammer and AIM after the legitimate part of the company went under. As Tony finishes a final meeting for his assets, Hammer is attacked by the Titanium Man for not holding up part of a bargain. Tony saves people till the rest of the Avengers show up. At the end of the fight, War Machine shows up and gets Titanium Man to leave. But he comes back with the team to Avengers Mansion, where he explains that AIM's storage facilities in Siberia have been raided due to a deal with the Russians that would see them upgrading the titanium suit, but they had been holding out on the Russians. But he helps the Avengers fight AIM and the Russians, and defeats Titanium Man and Justin Hammer in the process. Tony offers Rhodey a place on the team to help them fight AIM, and whatever comes next. Rhodey accepts. We get 2 new areas in New York and Siberia, with 2 villain sectors. Justin Hammer in New York, and Titanium Man in Siberia. So from here on out, characters are going to go in alphabetical order. For Ant-Man, I have 2 story ideas that involve different characters. One has Hank become Ant-Man, the other uses Scott Lang. Dr. Hank Pym was a biochemist who had discovered a form of subatomic particles, naming them Pym particles. He uses Pym particles to create 2 different formulas, a shrinking formula and a growing formula. During a test of the shrinking formula, he decides that the formulas are too dangerous for further use and destroys them. Sometime later, he reconsiders and makes himself a costume out of unstable molecules, as well as a cybernetic helmet to control ants with, becoming the first Ant-Man. When Thor's brother Loki decided to pit Thor against the Hulk, Hank and his partner Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp, and Iron Man intervened, with the 5 heroes assigned to form the Avengers.
One-on-one, we can each take down a villain or 2, but 74. None of us can do it alone. Together, we have a chance. What we did here, it can change things. The world needs us, but not as S.H.I.E.L.D. needs. As a team, on our own. Together, we can avenge the wrongs caused by all these villains.
We can be Avengers.
Good name.
The Avengers receive a distress signal from the Ant-Hill, asking for assistance as they are being attacked by AIM drones. As the Avengers approach the entrance to the Ant-Hill on foot, they fight AIM drones with red eyes. When the team gets inside, they find Theo evacuating people, as Hank and a few fighters are holding off their attacker, Roy, who has the Cosmic Cube. The Avengers and Hank try to reason with Roy, but Roy says his true name is Ultron. As the group battles Ultron, he uses the Cosmic Cube to blast at them. Hank absorbs one of the blasts. When Ultron goes to blast one member of the Resistance, Hank grows and punches Ultron out of the base.
Never underestimate pretentious lab jockeys.
Hank and the team realize that Hank has changed size, but isn't dead. The horizon of the blast from the Cosmic Cube negated whatever Monica and her scientists did to him in Wakanda. The Resistance members recover as Tony, Bruce, Shuri, and Wakandan scientists examine Hank, telling him that he is better than what his medical records had for him from even 10 years prior. Hank gets his Ant-Man gear and meets with the rest of the team. Meanwhile, Ultron starts taking over AIM manufacturing facilities, starts making plans to create his vision of humanity. The Avengers receive an alert that Ultron has attempted to steal the body of the original Human Torch, Jim Hammond. The Avengers fail to stop him. As the team destroys Ultron's manufacturing facilities, they receive a call from S.H.I.E.L.D., saying that a Weapon X facility is being attacked by robots matching the description of Ultron's drones. When the team arrives and gets into the facility, they find drones being led by a different android, the Vision. The team fights it but fails to stop Vision from leaving with the adamantium as the Avengers fight drones. The team finds the location that Ultron is using to build a new indestructible body. The team assaults a facility in Scandinavia. Inside they fight Vision, with Hank giving him a speech about being more human, in human individuality. Vision retreats and the Avengers follow him. When they reach Ultron's chamber, they start destroying machinery till Ultron and Vision stop them. When Ultron tells Vision to kill the Avengers, he refuses. He fights Ultron and sabotages the holding facility, holding off Ultron until the Avengers get out. Vision phases through the rubble and leaves. There'd be villain sectors for both Vision and Ultron. Scott Lang, unable to support his family as an electrical engineer, became a burglar until he was arrested and sent to prison. While he was in prison, he furthered his electronics knowledge and was released after serving 4 years for good behavior. He gets a job at Stark International and was even hired to upgrade the security systems of Avengers Mansion. When Scott's daughter, Cassie, became sick, Scott went to the only doctor who could help her. Unfortunately, the doctor had been kidnapped by Darren Cross, and upon learning of this, breaks into the home of Hank Pym, aka Ant-Man, who was operating as Yellow Jacket at the time, to steal the Ant-Man suit and equipment. Scott is able to save the doctor, who was able to save Cassie. Hank finds him, and Scott tells him that he was going to return the Ant-Man suit and turn himself in. Hank decides to let Scott keep the suit and equipment if Scott uses them to help others and not for personal gain.
I'm not Ant-Man. You are now.
After years of working on his own, he's made a member of the Avengers after he lost custody of Cassie. When the Avengers go to the Anthill, they can't get a portal to open from Theo, so the team flies there and goes the rest of the way on foot, finding aimbots with red eyes. When the team gets to the Anthill, they find Roy has been taken over by an AI called Ultron and absorbed the power of the Cosmic Cube. The Avengers fight aimbots till they reach Ultron himself. Before they can fight him, he shuts down with the Ant-Man, Scott Lang, jumping out to help the Avengers fight robots. After the battle, Hank explains that he secretly left Scott a new suit after he escaped Monica's capture and had him assist in gathering intel and for smaller missions for Hank. Scott says he'll help with fighting Ultron to repay Hank for all he's done for him, making Scott a hero in the eyes of his daughter, Cassie. While they figure out what their next move is, Ultron begins taking control of AIM manufacturing facilities, making himself drones and new bodies. The team fights him on various fronts, destroying manufacturing facilities and stopping theft of various materials and stopping his attempts to take control of automated systems. During one of these missions, they fight a new robot created by Ultron, the Vision, as he steals adamantium for a new body for Ultron. At the end of the story, Vision turns against Ultron as Ultron gets away. The Avengers ask Scott to join him, which he accepts. There'd be villain sectors for both Vision and Ultron. Dr. Stephen Strange was a brilliant but egotistical surgeon. One night, he's speeding in a car and crashes, shattering the bones in both of his hands, leaving him with extensive nerve damage. He searches for a way to fix his hands, losing money on unsuccessful treatments. Strange becomes a hermit and hears about somebody called the Ancient One. Strange finds him, but because of his arrogance, the Ancient One refuses to train him, until Strange stops the Ancient One's disciple, Baron Mordo, from killing him.
The Ancient One had known of Mordo's plot and was prepared. The Ancient One told me I had been tested and that there was goodness in my soul. I agreed to become the Ancient One's pupil.
The Ancient One offers to train him, and Strange agrees to it. After he completes his training, he goes back to New York and starts living in Sanctum Sanctorum. He protects Earth from mystical threats as Earth's Sorcerer Supreme.
How's the scouting been going?
Very good. I have discovered several new prospects. Young, but very promising. One in particular, a woman named Clea.
When Steve Rogers was killed after the superhero Civil War, Doctor Strange offered his home to the new Avengers and was made a member of the team. For his story, AIM has been experimenting with magic, and having started working with Baron Mordo. The Avengers request Strange's help in dealing with Mordo. After Mordo's defeat, AIM begins using Mindless Ones, so the Avengers ask Strange to stay, and he accepts. Baron Mordo is the new villain sector, while Dormammu is the raid boss. Sam Wilson, while having a happy childhood, becomes jaded in his teens after he starts having encounters with racism. When he refuses to join the church with his parents, believing it has led them to being ignorant, his parents decide to help him find something to believe in and give him books on different religions and theology. His parents are killed during his teens due to violence 2 years apart, but their deaths motivate him to continue being a community volunteer. Years later, Sam is working as a social worker and goes to Exile Island. There, he organizes the people of the island to fight for their freedom from the Red Skull. While on the island, Sam befriends Captain America, having been changed due to Red Skull, who says that Sam should adopt a persona to help inspire the people of the island in their rebellion. The two create the Falcon persona for Sam, and link the people against the Red Skull. When they return to New York, Sam joins Captain America as the Falcon. Originally brought to the Avengers by Henry Gyrick to fill a racial quota, but quit at the first chance he got. He is later given a proper invitation to the team, and accepts. I've got 2 story ideas for Falcon. After A-Day, the Falcon found evidence of the Red Skull and Hydra about to make a comeback, and has been working to dismantle their efforts. After Ultron absorbed the Cosmic Cube, the Avengers gave the remains of it to S.H.I.E.L.D. to keep safe. The Avengers get an alert that Hydra is attacking the Helicarrier, being led by Sin, the Red Skull's daughter. As Hydra leaves with the cube, Falcon arrives but fails to stop them from getting it. Sam tells Steve that Hydra believes the cube can alter reality if properly powered. Falcon works with the Avengers to try and stop Hydra from planting a bomb in Philadelphia. As the Avengers get close to the bomb, they're stopped by the Winter Soldier, one of Hydra's top assassins. During the fight, the Winter Soldier performs moves that Captain America recognizes. Cap pulls the Winter Soldier off, while the others go to stop the bomb. Cap recognizes the Winter Soldier as his old partner from World War II, Bucky Barnes. Winter Soldier gets away as the bomb goes off. Black Widow explains the story of the Winter Soldier being a KGB assassin, supposedly pulled from the Arctic and was originally an American soldier in World War II. Cap, Falcon, Widow, and Hawkeye infiltrate a KGB facility, gaining access to files saying that Bucky Barnes has amnesia and brain damage. The Avengers determine that Hydra is on Exile Island. The team assaults the island, getting the cube with Cap using it to help Bucky. Bucky leaves, and the Avengers take the cube back. Falcon has been tracking multiple Hydra cells, being led by different people, who are Red Skull's lieutenants: Baron Zemo, Madam Viper, and Baron Strucker. Strucker launches an attack on Zemo that the Avengers attempt to stop when the Falcon comes in, helping defeat Strucker's forces but failing to stop him. Falcon explains that Hydra has been fighting between themselves since the Red Skull disappeared. It has been trying to get to the heads of each cell to get them to stop. Falcon assists the Avengers in fighting the Hydra cells until the Red Skull returns and takes back control of Hydra. Dr. Faustus and Arnim Zola are the villain sectors, and Baron Zemo on Zemo still would be the raid. After the Fantastic Four defeat Kree Sentry 459, the Kree military assigned Captain Mar-Vell to spy on humanity, deemed they are a threat to the Kree Empire.
The Kree are one of the galaxy's most ancient civilizations, one of the superpowers. We are at war with another one, the Skrulls. Both empires are looking for strategic footholds to fight the war, as well as resources. Your solar system is in a strategically desirable location.
And the robot?
The Kree send out a sentry drone to defang any natives, to eliminate long-range detection, spacefaring capability, and to eliminate all potential threats.
He uses the name Walter Lawson and views humanity's potential, designed to protect it. After being found guilty of treason against the Kree Empire, he flees back to Earth to protect it till the day he dies. From Mar-Vell, the Avengers rescue him from a Kree ship. The Kree sends a warship that lands in Japan. Mar-Vell and the Avengers work together to drive the Kree away, and the Avengers follow them to Hala, the Kree homeworld, ending with the death of the Supreme Intelligence, effectively ending the war with Kree. We'd get 2 more villain sectors record the pursuer on the warship, while Yang, Rog, and Supremor would be the raid bosses. Dr. Barbara Bobby Morse joined a SHIELD project called Project Gladiator, a project to recreate the Super Soldier Serum. While working on the project, she was trained as a spy for SHIELD and given the codename Agent 19. When she found out two of the people on the project were AIM agents, she followed them to the Savage Land and, helping both Kazar and Man-Thing, defeats them. She later leaves SHIELD and begins operating under the codename Huntress, and later changes it to Mockingbird because she likes to taunt her enemies while fighting. She later fakes the death of her civilian identity after she shot at SHIELD agents after a misunderstanding and having spent some time in a coma. After teaming up with Clint Barton, aka Hawkeye, and defeating supervillain Crossfire, the two elope a few days later before starting the West Coast Avengers. With SHIELD and the Avengers back, they receive word that somebody is going to try and kill the New York DA. While protecting the DA, Crossfire and his group of mercenaries, with new equipment from AIM, make their assassination attempt. During the fight, Crossfire nearly succeeds, but is stopped by Mockingbird, who is shadowing the DA on orders from Maria Hill. Crossfire manages to escape, but his mercenaries are arrested. Mockingbird helps the Avengers track down and defeat Crossfire, and is invited to join the Avengers by Hawkeye, which she accepts. Daisy Johnson was the daughter of Calvin Zabo, aka Mr. Hyde, and was taken in by SHIELD and trained under Nick Fury, working directly under him as a personal agent. By the time she is 16 years old, she has gained level 10 security clearance, the only other person other than Nick Fury and the Black Widow. She has mostly acted as a reserve member of the team, being called on when needed. Quake goes to Maria Hill and the Avengers with a lead on when to find Nick Fury in the present. Quake and the Avengers find Fury and stop Monica from making another Cosmic Cube, a new villain sector for MODOK, and there would be a raid on AIM's new base with Monica as the main boss. Wanda Maximoff and her brother Pietro were taken as babies by the High Evolutionary, but was disgusted with the results and returned them to Wundagore Mountain. Her powers started to manifest when she was still young, and was taken by a coven of witches to be a servant of Chthon, but were stopped. When they were teens/young adults, their camp was attacked by anti-villagers, but Pietro got them away, and the two started living off the land for years. When Wanda was attacked by villagers, she accidentally set fire to the village, and was saved by Magneto. She and her brother joined his group, the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants, in order to repay their debt to him. When Magneto was willing to allow her brother to be killed as part of his plans,
we're doing nothing? What are you waiting for?
The one thing Genosha needs in order to triumph: unity. Some mutants refuse to fight alongside their brothers and sisters. But this unprovoked attack is just the motivation they need.
I can't believe you're actually willing to sacrifice lives!
If the loss of a few mutants will ensure our rightful place in this world, then yes, I will make that sacrifice.
It's all been a lie, hasn't it? A means to an end. We're a target for the humans, so you could retaliate! Is that all Genosha is to you?
Genosha is everything to me. But like a seedling in a clay pot, it must be broken free in order to grow.
No, not like this. It's one thing to defend ourselves. It's another to attack our own people.
she went to rescue him, and the two left the group. Shortly after leaving the Brotherhood, the two earned their way onto the Avengers in their first roster expansion. It was as Avengers that the two discovered that Magneto was their true father. Wanda found love with the Vision, and later Simon Williams, aka Wonder Man. After AIM gains a hold of the Darkhold, they release Chthon, who travels to Wundagore Mountain. Scarlet Witch appears, and requests the Avengers' assistance in stopping Chthon. The Avengers fight the High Evolutionary, and send Chthon back to his dimension. Both Chthon and the High Evolutionary are villain sectors. After Hank Pym's artificial intelligence, Ultron, turned against him and tried to kill the Avengers, and having been inspired by the Grim Reaper's connection with his brother Wonder Man, he decides he wants a family, and builds himself a son using the body of the original Human Torch, and basing his programming off of Wonder Man's brain.
Subject: Captain America's shield. It is not on these premises.
Jane, get behind me.
Subject: Wasp. You will tell me the shield's current location.
What? Who are you?
I am my master's vision of the future.
After studying and battling the Avengers, he turns on Ultron and joins the Avengers. Ultron returns, having created a blackout zone in Alaska. No media in or out, no internet signals, no resources. When the Avengers arrive, they find that Ultron has created an entire city in his own vision of what he wants Earth to look like, and to wait out the war between humanity and the Kree. As the Avengers try to leave, Ultron attacks them. The Vision appears, and helps the Avengers get out of the city. Vision explains that Ultron started to create the city after its defeat during the Ant-Man story, using the city as one big manufacturing facility. S.H.I.E.L.D., the Resistance, and the Avengers launch missions to cripple the city. When the Avengers go to shut the city's power down, they fight and destroy Ultron, destroying the city. No new villain sectors, but we'd get a raid with Ultron as the boss. Alright, now here are some characters I'd like added after the Datamine heroes are out. The Wasp, specifically Janet, not Hope from the movies, or Nadia from the recent comics. Why? She's kind of gotten the shaft over the last few decades. Sure, she led the team at one point, but she's never had a book of her own, only appeared in other characters' books, and was left out of both the last Avengers cartoon, Avengers Assemble, and the Avengers movies, other than a cameo in Endgame. So I'd say it's about time she gets her time back in the spotlight. Plus, if Hank is Ant-Man and not Scott, then we'd get the original lineup in the game. Now, let's rapid fire a few. Some must-have characters. Wasp, as previously mentioned. Hank is either Yellow Jacket or Goliath if he isn't already in. Quicksilver, Wonder Man, Tigra, and Hercules. Some recent characters from the last 20 issues in there. Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Echo, Valkyrie, Daredevil, and Shang-Chi. Let's get a few members from other teams that have been in more than a handful of issues on the Avengers. Beast, Wolverine, and The Thing. Here's some fun ones in my order of importance. Either Jessica Drew or the Julia Carpenter Spider-Woman, Moon Knight, any of the Cat Britons, Red Hulk, Jack of Hearts, Brother Voodoo, and because their movie is hot at the moment, Cersei, and Black Knight Dane Whitman. So, I hope that everybody has enjoyed this. If you made it this far, you win a Marvel No Prize, and you have my gratitude. I might do another one of these in the future with more focus, but that remains to be seen. With that said, thanks for watching, and in the words of Stan the Man himself, Excelsior!
Hello, Avengers. It's been a while. If you're hearing this, then the worst has happened, and that means I need you now more than ever. In times like this, when it all seems hopeless, that's when we've got to stand strong. Good luck, Avengers. Fury out.
This is Captain America. To anyone out there resisting the tyranny of AIM, to everyone who's scared or doesn't know where to turn, the Avengers are back, and we won't let you down again.
I will be joining the Avengers in their fight against advanced idea mechanics.
I should have made this official a long time ago. You've proved you're an Avenger, kid, if you'll have us.
When I was a kid, I dreamed of hearing you say that.
I'm hoping that's a yes.
I'll give it a shot.